Imagine there being one person, or maybe two, who you have come across who have every single thing that you've ever wanted in life and much more. The hair, the body, the money, the great family, whatever it is, you name it, they have it. And they didn't have to work for it. You know what I mean? It just kind of fell in their laps. And from where you're standing, it just kind of seems a little bit unfair. Yeah, unfair.
And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose.
You've had to work twice, 3 times, or maybe even more as hard as they have had to achieve the same thing. And sometimes we find ourselves in positions, well, let me speak for myself. I found myself in this position where I have looked over the wall, if you will, at the neighbor's grass, and I've thought it to be greener than my own, instead of, as the saying goes, watering my own grass and making sure that it looks just as good as theirs. So ever since I joined social media, I have noticed that there's a lot of highlight reels. You know, there's a lot of this just being portrayed all over. It's in your face. This, the travel life, the couple goals, the black hair movement, the black girl magic, the self-care, all these things that, you know, when they show their life, you know, they're showing some clips and some things, and they have this perfect house that's just like fully white, and you're just like, wow, this house is amazing, and have all these really nice things that are so well organized and well put out, and it just looks like it's literally out of a storybook. But when you look through their feed, it's like, that's their regular house. Like, that's where they live every single day. They wake up to this, and it's just like mind-blowing. You know, and sometimes these people are the same age, if not younger. And it kind of makes you feel like, what am I doing with my life? You know, what am I doing? Why can't I, you know, afford these things? Why can't I afford to, you know, live in this really nice apartment where everything is pristine white? Let's be real, I wouldn't want white, but, you know, the thought of it is nice. But anyway, yeah, those are just some of the thoughts that have popped into my head 1 or 2 times, or maybe more. Now, I'm not going to pretend like social media is all bad, or the only source, or this is where it all began. Let's be real. Our culture has had this ever since we were born. You know, once you started school, there's always this race to who can be the first, who can be the best, who can be this, who can be that. There's always some reward for doing good. So I would say that this began long before social media. I just think social media kind of amplified the situation. You know, it just kind of made it be more accessible. You're now just one click away from seeing all this perfection, whereas before social media, you kind of had to Google it, you kind of had to go out your way to see it. Now it's just right there, it's kind of in your face, right? I would say in high school, there were so many things that I wanted. I remember I went through this phase of wanting relaxed hair. Yes, I wanted relaxed hair so bad, and I just was not happy with my own hair because it was short, it was natural, it was hard to deal with, hard to manage. And a lot of my friends had relaxed hair, and it just seemed so easy. They would go in the bathroom after school and they'd just like brush it 2 times, and it was just like, it was perfect. You know what I mean? I would not dare go to school with my hair out and then make an attempt to comb it. This was before, you know, all these, the natural hair movement. Let me say that. Yes, I'm quite old. But yes, before the natural hair movement, and you never know, say if you spray it with water and then take your time and work your way through it, Yeah, you wouldn't dare try that. And then there was also my era of wanting to be a brownie. Yes, I wanted brown skin at one point. I just remember, while walking on the road, and I'm just gonna be really transparent. And this happened quite a few times. I'd be walking on the road with a group of friends, and the guys on the road would always say, "Psst, browning," and that kind of thing. And at one point, I was like, why my mother couldn't date one brown man and let me get brown skin? At one point I thought that, I really did, and I'm not proud of these things, but I'm just giving you some insight as to some of the things that I have thought, some of the things that I have been through. And also there was this era also of the Razor and the BlackBerry phone. Oh my gosh, yes, when all the hot girls, like, they were really nice looking girls, I'm not even going to lie, and they had these really nice flip phones and Blackberries, and I was just like, wow, I wanted to BBM too. I never got the chance. Blackberries came out of style before I ever got one, so that dream just kind of died with it. As I grew a little older though, and I got into like about 4th, 5th form, I started to realize what I liked and what I didn't like. I realized that I began to get more comfortable in my own skin. I began to love my hair more because I used to do some really nice styles, and I used to get compliments on it. Even though my hair was short and always in twists, people used to think that I had locks, that my hair was locked. Like when I pull it up, people are like, your hair was not locked all this time. It was just like, I used to do some really cute things like mohawks or to the left and that kind of thing, and just make it really fun and cute. And after a while, people loved it, and then I didn't feel so insecure about it anymore. Also, the whole skin tone thing, after you get some attention, especially from the opposite sex, with that, you just sort of forget about it because you suddenly realize that, hey, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. And then a lot of these things that I wanted, or that I thought I wanted, when I analyzed the bigger picture, they weren't going to help me get the good grades. They weren't going to help me to be that person that I wanted to be, the person my parents spend their money for go be. It wasn't going to help me in any way. And so eventually I just started to let it go. Fast forward to university, and I thought I was doing pretty well. I had now gotten a great sense of who I was, of what I wanted, of where I was headed, and yes, I thought I had it all figured out, and then I decided to join Instagram in 2018, and it kind of just went rocky from there. But to be honest with you, I think at some point or another in our lives, we do find ourselves comparing our real state with someone else's highlight reel, comparing what we know to be true of ourselves with something that we don't know to be true. We don't know how these persons got these nice phones. We don't know what they had to do to get it. Mind you, it could just be that they were born with a golden spoon for real, and them parents just buy it for them. But sometimes that's not always the case. And what they had to do to obtain these things, would you want to do it? Food for thought. And somehow when I find myself going down this rabbit hole of comparing myself with people, I am reminded of how much of a disservice it is to God when I basically tell him that what he has given me is not enough and I want what that person over there has. It's basically saying to God, in my humble opinion, that, hey God, you've given me dark skin, for example, and I don't think it's good enough. I wish you had given me light skin. I wish you had given me nice 4A type hair. I don't like 4C hair. I don't like it. I wish you had given me this instead. I would have been better off with this. So it's almost like saying to God that you don't think he did a good enough job with you. And the more I began to look at it and analyze the situation, as hard as it is, and it's really, really hard, let's be real, it is hard sometimes to look at the bigger picture. It is hard sometimes to just look at what you have and be like, I'm gonna just choose to be grateful for what I have. Remember when I said that with the whole natural hair thing in high school? When I was looking over the other side, I wanted relaxed hair. And then when I started to embrace what I had, people actually liked it. People actually started complimenting me on how my hair was really nice, even though, you know, I didn't think it was great at one point, but I started to embrace it, you know. And I think that's the first step in really and truly overcoming comparison. It's one, being honest enough with yourself to recognize that, hey, I have this problem. You know, I tend to always look on the other side. I tend to always want to compare myself with Jennifer, with Samantha, and I think that these girls are fantastic. I see them on Instagram all the time. Their lives are perfect. Their lives look great. On the outside, I wish I had what they had. But recognizing that you can't see everything. You don't get the behind the scenes. What they post is what they want to post, is what they want you to see, you know. And to take that and then be somewhat jealous of that is kind of weird if you really and truly think about it. No, seriously, think about it. My second step in somewhat overcoming this challenge was just really and truly trying to be grateful. Trying to be grateful for what God gave me, for what I have. I have to admit that I'm not yet there. I have not yet mastered the art of just full-on gratitude and never ever comparing. I haven't mastered it as yet. But it's a daily struggle, and it's a struggle that I think a lot of us go through, whether or not we want to admit it. But it can be done, you know. You can overcome it. And so looking at what you have and being like, all right, this is something that this person has, but okay, what are the things that I have going right for me? You know, I have a great family, I have food in the fridge, I have a job, I have this, I have that, and amplifying those things will really just cause you to be more grateful for what you have. And sometimes, you know, even thinking about persons who have less than you do, that too can help you to be more grateful for what you do have. If there's one thing that I have proven from God over the years, is that he gives me exactly what I need, not always what I want. And let's be honest, if God had given me the brown skin at the time and the relaxed hair, it probably would have dropped off by now, because I don't care anything in life. And let's be real, me as a brownie, can you imagine that? Nah, not really. Plus I'd have to probably bleach to get there, and yeah, we're not gonna do that anyway. So yeah, you know, I just need to continue to be honest with myself about the problem, and then, you know, be grateful for what I do have. And maybe like starting a gratitude journal would be nice, or something like that. Or, you know, just probably writing down what I'm grateful for, what I do have, my achievements, you know, and then writing them down, and then probably going back to them at a later time. I found that when I've done that in the past, it has really helped, but I'm not very consistent with it, as I am with many areas of my life. The inconsistency struggle is real, okay? But yeah, guys, comparison, really and truly, it's there's no end to it. If we really and truly think about it, you are comparing yourself to somebody else, and that person that you're comparing yourself to, they're comparing themselves to somebody else, and best believe it, somebody out there is comparing themselves to you. Like, I find that really hard to believe. I can't, you know, somebody comparing themselves to me. Like, why would you even bother? Listen, if you've done it, don't do it. don't do it. I know on the outside I look like I've got it all together sometimes, and you know, it looks like everything is, it's not. The struggle is real, and life is hard. You know, life me, just like how life you, and life everybody else out there. So don't bother think say everything is all peaches and cream over here, because as you can clearly see, your girl has struggles too. You know, I mean, I'm just keeping it real. So yeah, don't do that. Don't do that at all. You know, not with me. Well, with nobody. I'm encouraging you not to do it with anybody, especially me though. But yeah, anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, please let me know in the comment section below, what are some things that you struggled with? You know, how did you overcome that comparison bug, as I call it? Did you eventually overcome it? What did you do? What were some steps that you took? I mean, I could only think of those two right now, but I'm pretty sure that's not an exhaustive list. I'm pretty sure there are like tons of other things that many different people would have implemented, and it really worked for them. So if you're one of those people and you have an additional step, you know, maybe you could help somebody in the comments below. Maybe, you never know who you could help. So you could help me. You know, you really could help me, help a girl out, and tell me some additional things that, you know, could possibly work to overcoming this struggle. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, to hit a like, to share the video if you found it helpful, useful in any way, shape or form. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.
Hey.